question. Oh fuck. A big tree is gonna eat me. Oh fuck, a bugworm. Bert, this isn't a bugworm, right? Bugworm? Bagworm. I'm maybe stupid. Oh fuck, a bagworm. Okay. Okay. I assume everything's working. Okay. Sorry if the fan's annoying, by the way, it's very hot. Wow. I think I haven't played this game in a while. I'm near the end of Sakuya out. I hope. If I lost last time, I might have been lost as fuck. There's a non-dude into that. Okay, that's young. Okay. Hello, yeah, Windows. This is Kuon for Windows 11. That is, it's sadly ill. Yeah, are you actually on Windows 11, or do you just find it really funny? Like, have you been forced into it yet? Okay. Honestly, uh, it's kind of insane that I have gained nothing from being forced onto Windows 11, but I also just don't care. Like, literally every change from Windows 10 is negative, because the only change from Windows 10 is now that you have to click fucking show more options when you right click. Like, that's the only meaningful difference from what I can see. I guess literally having literally a single change. I the like I don't know if I'm just stupid. I never really see the recommendations on the start screen. I don't know what that means. I see people make that complaint and I have no idea what it means. Like the Windows, like what comes up when you press the Windows button, right? There's like sometimes a single recommendation, I guess. Which is like, that's dumb. But Windows 10 also had that. Like I would argue Windows 10 was worse about that stuff. From me. The Copilot stuff is like, that's just something I asked there, how do I get rid of this? And I got rid of it day one, so I've never thought about it once. Oh, this guy's not dead. Bonk. Oh, do you mean like the login menu? And where it comes up with like, here's the fucking weather. It's a holiday today. Did you know that? Do you mean that? Oh wait, the recommended as in the old. I guess like, okay, I understand now what you fucking mean. I'm stupid. I guess just like, I honestly, yeah, I understand that now. Yeah, Ilia's just there. I kind of like, I honestly kind of like that feature. Like, that feature when it is, here is your stuff. Like when it doesn't, when it's not ads. I'm like fine with that feature. Because sometimes it's like, I can press start and it's like, here's this thing you just downloaded. Or here's this thing you opened. And I'm like, that's fine. It's like, that's a feature that's like, kind of completely unneeded. But it's like, it sometimes saves me 2 seconds. So I guess it's fine. You know? Yeah. That is really dumb. Especially considering, like, the start menu is ridiculously big on Windows 11. Which I guess is why they moved it to the middle. Oh. Yeah. Which, like, I'm pretty sure... Wasn't the start menu in Windows 10 slightly see-through already? Like, Windows 11 really feels like Windows 10 too. Which, I guess, like, I never really experienced Windows 8 or 9. Because I, I think I did for a bit, but I don't remember why. And, like, from what I understand, Windows 8 and 9 were kind of... Windows 8, 9, 10, 11 are a pretty direct, like, not evolution, because, it's not gotten better, arguably, but, like, a pretty direct lineage compared to, like, they feel a lot more similar than older Windows edition updates. What do you mean Windows 9 does not? Oh, was Windows 9 like the phone version or whatever? I kind of assumed people just didn't talk about it the same way they talked about Windows 8. Wait. What skills do I have? Okay. That's really funny. It's kind of insane that, like, they haven't just gone like, oh, now you can visually customize your OS more, so people go like, oh, this is a good thing. I don't remember if I ever used 7. I feel like I must have, but my memory is really fucking bad in general. Like, if Windows 11 just let you put the sidebar where it normally, put the start menu on the far left where it normally is, people would not complain about it nearly as much. Sorry if my volume is wildly fluctuating. I'm fucking with it slightly because I see it keeps peaking. I also learned that, but I don't think it actually reduces the size of it. Like, it doesn't make the rest of the start menu bigger, it just makes the recommendation text smaller. Which is worse. It looks worse. Yeah.
Korea, what are you doing? Stop this!
That's not how you pronounce that.
Korea!
Korea.
You killed me that day! You pushed me!
I don't know, it's really funny.
Doyle!
I thought Discord was not giving you notifications, so I didn't turn off the noise on my phone. I don't know how this game's localization went. I think it might have been a EU thing. Cause that's my phone notification noise. I'm get it. It's where I meant to go. No. My life is like a video. Exactly. You get it. Because my life is like a video game trying hard to beat the stage. All the while, I'm collecting coins. I'm always shocked that that's by like an actual band. It's like if you learned Story of Undertale was like an official cover. That's true. I guess I can get over that way. What if the guy who made that song showed up in Peter Griffin versus Deadpool? I'll giggity Lois and then collect some coins. It's like if Mega Man 2 with lyrics. Amir, I'm gonna run this tweet idea by you, and if you want, you can steal it. Uh, the "My Life is Like a Video Game" song being made by like he like abused his wife, right? Or is he a rapist? Cite either of those. Just lie. Is like if Yaris Forrest was getting by a sexual harasser. I think it's both. Okay, then yeah. Because the joke is Yaris Forrest is bisexual harasser. So you'll get people going like, I have something horrible to tell you. It's in the action date. do not really have that many. Hmm. Ah, fuck. I know that, like, you know, survival horror game. This game really does not feel like it should have. You have to go reload your last save. That's.
Banish demons and all.
I mean, I do have strong thoughts on tank controls. This game doesn't have them, but you gotta think about it. Yeah. It's probably also about how strongly I feel about it. I think there are definitely cases when, like, especially with, like, you know, 3D platformers and stuff, there are definitely some games that feel like they just have tank controls because they kind of they think of a better way to do 3D controls in the PS1 era. But, like, people. It's a weird thing debate where, like, I would not be shocked if a lot of developers would legitimately want, like, you know, in that era, would legitimately want to, like, change the control schemes of their game. Which, like, you know, that. What are those things are. I feel like a lot of people see artistic intent and artistic outcome as inherently a linked thing. And, like, a lot of the time, it's not. Like, there are a lot of games where developers would probably want to change some stuff if they go back. Or, you know, a lot of movies where the end product isn't exactly how they wanted it and they would change it if they could. But, like, I don't know how I feel about which matters more in terms of, like, preservation and stuff. Like, I assume you saw mention of the Fist of the North Star movie coming out. Like, its uncensored cut being found finally. That's a thing where, like, neither of the versions of that are really the Chew version, I guess. Because one is functionally the Yalice version. The actual, like, that is the piece of art that has Yalice. But the other is, on some level, the artistic intent version. It's hard for me to mentally go, like, which of these matter more, I guess. The answer is, like, both matter. Yeah. That's, I kind of, I've kind of accepted myself on a centrist in regard to stuff like this, where I'm like, it's probably best if just both versions exist. Like, you know, a couple of years back at this point, there was arguments about, like, the Sailor Moon color correction shit. And it's like, I don't know, both can exist separate from each other. I think in a lot of cases with the Armored Core fandom has a lot of problems with this, from what I can see, where, like, I think Armored Core Silent Line added, like, a different, more, actually it might have been Armored Core 3. It's one of those, I think. It might have been Armored Core 2 or another answer even. It might have just been PS2 games. Added, like, dual analog controls. And people went back and, like, modded them into previous games. But I never really liked that control scheme. Like, even in Armored Core 4, where the original control scheme is not really considered, like, you have to, that game has, like, full control U mapping so you can make it work, but it's not, like, at all the intended experience. I, like, set it to be like that. And it's like, yeah. I think, like, on some level, artistic intent, especially artistic intent in the era of studio-made works, is functionally not a real thing. So I feel like just, you know, on some level, like, Pink Sailor Moon is artistic intent because it is an official version released by the owners of Sailor Moon, you know? That Pink Sailor Moon is as real as something like PT Reload, or something like a rushed version of a game, where that is what came out, that exists, so it is on some level the artistic intent that it is like that. It's just, it's artistic intent by mainly the studios rather than any of the actual creatives on it. Which is, like, you know, that's weird to think about it that way, I feel, to, like, I don't know. I just learned some. Yeah. I guess even then. Like, something like, the Sailor Moon stuff or the Tree of Might releases are like, you know, they are much. They are visually much closer to the intended experience by the production staff. But it is still like, it is not them finding and e-scanning all the cells. Which even then, like, that. I think it's kind of just impossible to really argue intent in a lot of cases of stuff like this because, like, you know, Sonic 06 is like a super buggy game. That is not the artistic intent, but that is the artistic outcome. If someone modded Sonic 06 to not be buggy, would that be the true way to play it? And if so, is it the true way to play it because it makes the game more enjoyable, or because it makes the game more artistically, like, sincere? Like, it's one of those things that, like, again, it's probably best that just many versions of this stuff exists, especially because, now we can make it so that as many versions of this stuff as possible exists. That's why I'm like, I'm pretty sure you know Blast. They like, they've made a couple tweets about how they cannot like anime YouTuber Hazel's content anymore because they watched the Edeon compilation movie and Be Invoked, and partially because of that they didn't like it. And I think it's one of those things where, like, with compilation movies, I can never really get mad at people watching them as replacements, because, like, that's what they're meant to be. If the production staff of Edeon did not want people going into Be Invoked only knowing a contact, they would not have made a contact. They would have showed a contact before Be Invoked. That is the stated purpose of a contact. That is an intended experience with Edeon as a work. So I can't really get mad at individual people for doing that. And I don't know if I can even really get mad at stuff like a contact for being made, because there are people that probably had that experience and really like Edeon. Like, how do I... People talk about, like, oh, you gotta watch stuff in release order a lot. And I think it's one of those things that, like, release order obviously gives, the intended experience, the true experience. But it's sometimes really interesting to watch something and then go back and be able to piece together stuff. That's a fun, interesting experience. And it's, I experience a lot of stuff it's intended to have. Like, Fuga Melodies of Steel has a post-credit scene. It's not even really a post-credit scene. It's like a secret ending 100% bonus for if you do a bunch of dumb shit. And that post-credit scene is a teaser for Soldado Yobo Yed the Hunter, a game that came out a decade before it. I think about a decade, because I think they release a LTB game about it every decade. And it's like, part of the intent of that scene is people who have played Soldado Yobo Yed the Hunter soy jack point and go like, that's a thing I know. That's what I did. Also, like, they very obviously wanted Fuga to be the first successful Little Tail Bronx game. And they pushed a lot for it in, like, furry fandom and stuff. So a lot of people probably saw that scene and were like, what is this in reference to? Looked it up and learned about Soldado Yobo from that. These are both the intended experience with that game. And I think that's interesting, I don't know. I think like I would have to do think like I would have to look into the actual production history, but I think with stuff like Zabungle Graffiti, I kind of assume Tomino just likes compilation movies and stuff like New Chance. Like, I think Tomino just sees them as an interesting art form. Like, I don't, stuff like the Gundam compilation movies were made because the show had a bunch of post-release hype because of the model kits. So they wanted to capitalize that by releasing a easier version of it to watch. Ideon Contact was probably made because Ideon wasn't mega successful, but they wanted to make Be Invoked, so they felt like they had to have a context in before Be Invoked. But I don't know why Zabungle Graffiti was made. Like, it's not a prequel to a movie. It's not anything, really. It's just, here's a Zabungle compilation movie to be a Zabungle compilation movie. Same with, like, the Elgai movie is, the first two. And, like, New Chance is... I don't know what fucking New Chance is in this context. Same with, like, the Turn A comp movies and the G Echo comp movies. I think Tomino just likes being a comp movie guy. Like, I assume Ideon Contact was made with a lot of artistic sincerity, even if I think I don't really like the format of comp movies that much, and I basically always think they're kind of bad. Like, even the G Echo comp movies, which are good, they're really good because they're G Echo, I think they're a worse experience than the show, just because I think Tomino is really good at formatting stuff for TV as a medium, so I think it always feels kind of weird when it's made into a cop movie.
banish humans and all.
Like, Tomino does seem like he is much more of a fan of movies as a medium than TV. So I wouldn't be shocked if he is just like, I wouldn't be shocked if he views comp movies as functionally the same as his novel adaptations of stuff. I think, especially with Tomino stuff, it's hard to really argue a super artistic intent way to read, like, completionism release order as the intended experience of his stuff, because, like, Tomino seems to view the movies as the canon version of 0079, with them referencing its iconography specifically in CCA. He also, like, Tomino specifically says you should not watch Doan's Island as an episode. But I don't think most people would legitimately argue that you should skip it because it's the artistic intent to skip it. Is there a safe spot nearby that I can see? No. It's not one. That sucks. Oh, can I just do that? That would be really...
Korea, what are you doing?
Okay. I think I maybe want to do summons. Yeah. Like... I finished Nadia recently. Like, yesterday. And Nadia, I think, is a very interesting thing to consider in this, because, like... By all means, functionally, the entire production staff does not care about the island arc. Or even, like, the Africa arc. But, like... Should you really just skip it? If... Like... That is kind of undeniably a part of the show that, if it didn't exist, the entire production staff would not care. No. It is, what if there was 11 episodes of Doan's Island? I should have done that. That was stupid of me. Fuck. Ah. Yeah. I think the Yale answer is that a lot of people treat first experience as God when it comes to art, and I think that's a lot less true than people treat it as. I think you can have a really shit first experience or something, and enjoy it on rewatch, or I think you can have a really shit first experience with some. I think you can have a really good first experience or something and hate it on rewatch. Or even hate it in retrospect. Like, I feel a lot of people treat rewatches as purely like, either this is my way to feel good, or this is my way to reaffirm my opinion. When I really do think it is an opportunity to rethink your opinion on stuff.
Banish demons and all evil spirits.
Like, Nemo has talked about this a good amount with the Gurren Lagann cop movies. where a lot of people watch Gurren Lagann, like it, and then only ever watch the cop movies as their rewatch because it's shorter and gets to the hits, and there's greater hits with like, you know, action cool shit. Which leads to them not really thinking about anything the cop movies gloss over, and also treating the cop movies as fully just a replacement with no real thought put into them. Well, like, Nima has talked a lot about how the specific way the comp movies are formatted made her think a lot more about how Gurren Lagann is and what Gurren Lagann like says. And I think that is like, comp movies are not really replacements; they are adaptations functionally, and people treat them as replacements rather than adaptations. Which, like, to be fair, people also treat a lot of adaptations as replacements with like stuff like Full Metal Alchemist. I really, despite being someone that really likes getting, like, especially with games, I like kind of being a completionist light in regards to them. Like, I like getting all the story content you can out of them, basically. I think, I think that, like, with Persona specifically, if there were more social links than you can get in one gun, I think that would make me enjoy it a lot more. Because then I would be able to do, like, the thing I do with, like, visual novels, where I do a natural gun, where I just, you know, interact with the parts of the game I want to, and then I can do a gun to get the yes, basically. It really is just, like, with stuff like FMA, like, if I accept that FMA Brotherhood is, like, you know, the best anime of all time or whatever, it's still good that FMA 2003 exists. Like, ignoring that it seems pretty undeniable from what I've heard that a lot of the reason people liked FMA Brotherhood is because they already had context from 2003. It's still just good. Yeah, it's still just good to have the weird version. I think it is one of the things that I think it, from what I understand of, you know, shonen history, it does seem like it is. FMA Brotherhood does seem like it is the more important work because it seems like it's kind of the precursor to the modern era of very straight adaptations. But still, like, you know, who cares? Work importance is one of those things that I really hate. I don't know if you remember the most influential anime, mecha anime of the Showa era post from Charme Guy. That
What are you
thought
doing?
process of, like,
You're my only sister.
the only works that are truly notable are those that directly influenced later works. Annoys the fuck out of me. Gather like, yes, it is probably true that, like, you know, Mobile Suit Gundam is the one that led Mecha to become more grounded in reality. But, like, you know, stuff like Giant Robo already did that. Like, Giant Robo is already meant to be set in a realistic setting. It's just from an era where a realistic setting was viewed differently in any manga stuff. Yeah. Like, I think if you're fully going into, like, I have to watch everything this was inspired by watching it type thought process. I have to watch Yaidin before Yazafon. Then it's like, then you have to watch you have to read the Epic of Gilgamesh. You have to read the Epic of Gilgamesh and go from there. That is a functionally impossible thought process to truly use. I should not have ran up here. Skill! Yeah, I think, like, it's one of those things where I think inspiration especially has the same thing where, like, with inspiration, I think especially, you get that experience of, like, you watch it in the context of knowing what got inspired by it, and that enhances the experience with the older thing, you know? Like, if I watched Mazinger Z without context, I would probably go, this is boring as fuck. But at the very least, going like, oh, this is, this is shit Mazinger Z was referencing. This is shit Shin Mazinger was referencing. Maybe at least get that from it, Seeing, like, oh, the weird split between semi-serialized elements and fully unserialized elements is kind of interesting. Would not have been interesting if I was watching Mazinger Z without context, because I would have just gone like, why do they sometimes do build up and sometimes not? It's also just like, what if a work is inspired by something, but like you don't know that? Like people don't talk about it. Like most people that read Bokuyano kind of assumed it was just making up a work when it talked about the moon. Most people didn't know the moon was a thing. But I wouldn't like get mad at them for not eating the moon before Bokuyano. Because why the fuck would you eat the moon? No one talks about the moon. Yeah, I got a new fan. I think, like, me being very perfectionist when it comes to games and stuff, yeah, it really is a thing where, like, the thing that inspired the thing you like also has to be good for it to be good. Like, knowing how influential Mazinger Z Toei was didn't make me like Mazinger Z Toei. It just made me not want to kill myself while watching 96 episodes straight of Mazinger Z Toei. Yeah, it was. I think it's crazy that, like, the Mazinger Z manga isn't, like, great or anything. I think it's pretty good. But, like, he fucking got Devilman the year before. You But, like, the Mazinger Z manga is still, like, you compare that to the Toei anime, and it feels like it was made in 1996, not the same fucking year. Like, it's kind of insane that those came out at the same time. Not, not as going straight and upward in quality as time progresses is bad, but, like, The thing with the Mazinger Z manga is that the version that was on MangaDex for a long time was two mangas spliced together. If you only talk about the actual Shonen Jump Mazinger Z stuff and ignore the TV magazine stuff, it's pretty good. Which I think is now much easier to do because I think someone is splitting them up on MangaDex.
Banish demons and all evil spirits.
I think it's yeah. I think it was like 2023, 2024. It started. I don't know if it's even done yet. Because I remember when I my fucking 1972 video, it hadn't been done. Like, Go Nagai is a pretty good writer. I don't think he's like the GOAT or anything, but he's pretty good at it. The manga version of Koji Kabuto is a fun character. There's a Yisun Shin Mazinger Z. He's good and took a bunch of stuff pretty straight from the manga. That's also just a shortcut. Oh wait, I went the wrong fucking way. I kind of forgot that we were gunning back that way to go back to the full direction. I don't. You remember? I wouldn't be shocked if Volume 2 is all there is of the Shonen Jump Yun. I guess I can just check. Because I think. I don't remember when the Shonen Jump Yun ends. There's also a chance MangaDex is just not the correct place to find it anyway. I don't think it's even. I don't remember if it's actually a scanlation or if it's like a new translation or if it's just they are putting or changing the ordering. Yeah. Let me check. Comic. Yeah, it seems like it is only like partway done. Because that's also where it is on comic, and I think that's where most people moved after Mangadex had that happen to it. Yeah. I guess my opinion on the Mazinger Z manga is that for a manga that kind of doesn't say anything at all, it's pretty good. Like for a fun manga, it's pretty good. Like, really just, it's kind of crazy that the only Mazinger Z work to say anything is fucking Zero. Yeah. Wow, it's just like Death Note. That's true.
What's this?
I hope it goes well, yeah. Bye. Let's go. I'll ban this guy. Ban is here. It's crazy that there was a time when Death Note was like considered one of the smartest anime of all time, man. Like, I don't know if that or Code Geass having that battle is stupider. Also, it's very funny to come across, like, someone you know, almost dead, and just not being able to interact with them at all. Yeah. Go on moments and aura. I feel it's kind of hurting like a motherfucker. So I think I'll stop stream here. I kind of intended to do a log stream, but ouch.